So we're here today with Jodie Ounsley. Jodie is the latest LooseHeadz Ambassador. Jodie started her journey at Sandal Rugby Club over in Yorkshire and has progressed through England Sevens to GB Sevens, is now a full-time member of the Sale Sharks ladies team. You'll have heard of Jodie. Jodie is profoundly deaf. She's an absolute inspiration to what I believe will be a generation of women rugby players across the world. Jodie, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
I wanted to ask you first, you've become a LooseHeadz Ambassador and we're incredibly proud to have you as that. What does that mean to you?
To be honest, I'm quite honoured because I feel like I have an opportunity to speak about my personal experiences, hoping to, allow other people who feel the same that they can speak up as well. And I just think it's an amazing opportunity, and just the impact by everyone speaking and just having this sense of community, it can only help others, and I'm just really excited to see where it goes.
And your rugby journey, I've sort of plotted it over the last few years. It's been fairly meteoric, if you don't mind me saying. You started playing rugby at the local club, and crikey, where are you now? You're a GB 7 star. You'll have had some ups and downs through that journey. You'll have had some injuries because rugby's that sort of game. How's it been?
It's definitely been a roller coaster. That's all I can say. And I felt like I sort of had challenges to overcome at the very start because I wasn't allowed to play rugby in the first place because that's what medical advice, people cochlear implants, not to do any contact sports. And there's me here wanting to play rugby, which is, a full contact sport. But I found a way, and 5 years later, obviously something's worked because now I'm playing the sport that I love. But obviously it's not been a smooth sailing, like it really hasn't. I've definitely had some downs and a lot of highs as well, but I think that's what we need to, speak more of, the lows that people go through in the rugby world, not just sort of the highs. I think it's so important.
And a million years ago, well, not a million years ago, but some years ago, I met my wife. She was the captain of Staines Ladies, and I was fooling about in the first team. And I went over to chat her up, and we're now married and we've got 3 kids. So women's rugby has been in my little world for 30 years or so. So I know the importance to her. She was very disappointed when she got pregnant and had to give up, and she went back a couple of times, but it never really was the same. You have the opportunity of inspiring a whole generation of girls to play rugby. How does that feel for you?
Again, to me, I've just sort of come into rugby because I love it and just doing rugby all I can and just achieve what I can. But then to sort of think that I actually have like an opportunity to inspire other girls, it sounds baffling because I'm just doing something that I love, but it's so like humbling to even think that someone could be inspired by me and what I'm doing. And I'm so grateful for that, and that's what I'm really passionate, and I want to sort of get across to people, especially young girls, that it is possible, and especially to young deaf girls and deaf boys as well, that it's possible, because so many people in the deaf community sort of are told that they can't achieve, or it's not possible what they want to achieve, and I sort of want to turn around and be like, no, it is, and sort of just prove to them that they're able to do that.
That's brilliant. That's beautiful. Talk about some of those highs and lows. How do you cope with those highs and lows? The things that come and kick us in the face when we least expect it.
To be honest, I think my family have been my absolute rock. So when I've had many highs, and when you have those highs, you feel like they're on top of the world. But when you have those lows, injury's been quite a big issue for me. And I think the biggest sort of downhill was when I dislocated my shoulder, and I was sort of in under 18s trial, so at the time it felt really big and it's what I wanted to do. But then also it was when I came back from injury, for some reason I just sort of went into this hole of doubt myself and struggling with confidence, and sort of got to the point that I was going to give up rugby because I was also doing GB skeleton trials at the same time. So I was really thinking about giving up rugby at that point, but just having my family being there supporting me, and I turned around to them and I admitted that I was struggling in that time, and I got help, and just by having them by my side has got me through those lows, and now just looking, you know, 2 years on, so much has happened in that time. So I think it's just about sort of hanging in there and sticking to it, and that's how I've sort of coped with it.
And I know your first rugby club, Sandal, quite well. I've played there. I've not won there much, if at all. That community, you feel, now you've scaled the heights of rugby and you've seen it at all levels. How important is the rugby community for you?
It's massive. I just think it's a whole family. It's like, even, you know, I haven't been in Sandal in a good couple of years. Every time I go back to Sandal, it's just, I feel like a 15-year-old again, just seeing the girls, seeing the coaches. It's just having that family you can always go back to, and even though, you know, you're not blood related, it generally feels like a family, and I think that's what I love so much about rugby. It's just the community of it, and even just seeing my old rugby coach Andy Bevan at Sandal the other week, it was just so good to see him, and I think that's so special that you can get that from just, you know, rugby. So it's a big thing.
And at LooseHeadz, we absolutely want to connect the world of rugby union, the community that rugby union gives people, with the moral compass that we all have to look after our own mental fitness. I want to ask you just talk as you would see fit. We run a campaign called This Means More, and it's about what rugby means. And to me personally, it doesn't mean the scoreline. It means an awful lot more than that. I can't remember if I won or lost the last 20 games I ever played, and it really didn't matter. What does rugby mean to you?
To be honest, rugby to me just means getting better. Like, that might mean getting better as a person or getting better as a player, but for me, half of the time I don't remember the score of the games or anything like that, or whether I scored a try. For me, it's, you know, what you feel when you're around your teammates, you know, those high and lows and sort of the energy that you can bring to the game. And I think there's so much more than just a game of rugby. It's your life, it's, you know, it's your dreams. Like, my ultimate dream is to compete at the Olympics, and it's not just rugby, it's so much more than that. I just think it's just so much more, yeah.
When I've watched the clips of you playing, I would describe you as a bit of a force of nature. Yeah, you transform from this demure young lady I see in front of me to this rampaging beast. Rugby strikes me as a bit of a release for you.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, 100%. Off the pitch, I'm actually a very sort of shy person, and 2 years ago, I really didn't have any confidence. Off the pitch to, I just want to be a beast on the pitch. But yeah, I think that's really cool as well, that rugby can allow you to sort of channel those feelings, whatever those feelings may be, but channel it into something good.
So just getting towards the end of our little chat, but just take us into your world at the moment. You're a full-time player at Sale Sharks. You're also involved in GB Sevens. Have you got a spare minute or two?
Yeah, I always like to try and make time for things I'm passionate about, because that's what it's all about. It's not just about me being a rugby player, it's about how can I use my platform and use my time to try and help other people as well.
And what's the next, I don't know, how long is a rugby player's career these days, but what's the next 3, 5, 7 years look like for you?
I definitely want to be making my first Olympic Games, Commonwealth Games, and then who knows, sort of the World Cup. Literally, I just want to achieve as much as possible, but the Olympics is definitely been my ultimate dream since being young. So
it's brilliant chatting with you, Jodie. I think the ability you have to inspire those young girls who might never have met rugby as you hadn't is immense, and I think there's a whole community of young girls who can get an awful lot out of rugby and the community it offers. And I just wanted to thank you for coming along today. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.